All right. Hello, everybody, and welcome to another fabulous match of our Hollow Knight All Skills tournament. We are in the 5th round, and this is a match today between Tipu and Taco. And I am Herb, of your two commentators for today, and joining me on the mic is Virgil.
Hello everyone. Good morning, evening, good night, whoever you are. Yeah, as my lovely co-commentator Herb has mentioned, this will be a very exciting match to see. And Taco and Tipu, we have as the co-commentators, we have a interesting relationship as especially with Taco, since Herb and I were having a discussion and we just realized as a whole, both of us has commentated for Taco, I think 4 out of 5 times in the entire tournament. So this is going to be some very exciting stuff to see here.
Yes, we've seen a lot of Taco. I don't think either of us has commentated for Tipu before, but it's going to be a really great race in terms of PBs. Taco's current PB is a 58:30, I believe. Yes, it is. And then Tipu's is 1 hour and 54 seconds. So he has mentioned that there's a really big possibility he gets that PB today and goes for that sub-hour. So no matter how the race goes, we'll definitely be cheering on these runners, hoping to get some HK glods, and we'll be counting them down shortly.
Yes, indeed. Let me just check.
Yes, hello chat. All of you are extremely cute. A few housekeeping things. We are running on patch 1221, as most of this tournament is. There is a smaller current patch bracket that's been going on. But this is a 1221 match, which means this patch is sort of a faster patch. It allows us to do some lever skips, some inventory drops, a few other tricks we'll be pointing out along the way. And then in addition, we run the game in simplified Chinese, a language Virgil is fluent in. So we might get that Chinese translation lore at some point, but that's just because text scrolls fastest in that manner, and it allows us to zoom, which is really what we're all about here as speedrunners.
Yes, we're definitely here for, lots of zooming in and going to virtual classes. I'm joking, I'm sorry. Also, for people that don't know me, prepare for some really bad jokes, and also a few lovely knock-knock jokes that Herm and I have gathered from this lovely community. And it seems like Taco is also in the stream chat, so there will be some potential spoilers from him, and it will be excited to see.
Yes, most certainly. Always interesting to see in this case if the runners choose to have the stream up. Some do, some don't, because unlike previous tournaments, such as the one with the Hollow Knight randomizer, you're completely allowed to watch your opponent, and so it's a choice that you're welcome to make as a runner. It looks like countdown is happening, so once we get through some stream delay, we'll be off. Gonna be running and running and running. This race as a whole this typically takes somewhere in the neighborhood of an hour. The world record's about under 50 minutes, but these runners will probably take around that time. It is kind of a scary run at some point, so we'll be pointing out some of the worst places to die and hoping it doesn't happen there.
Yes. And yeah, as we have already come down for the runners in the chat, there should be a little bit of a delay, but we'll be getting started soon. And some people mentioning in chat that some people also know a little bit of Chinese, so I've found my community. You guys are awesome. And daily reminder that chat is very cute.
And we see Rixian in the chat. Thank you. We would like to remind Rixian that they are extremely poggers for providing the service to this community that is the timestamp. And I see a question about whether this is a vanilla run. Yeah, this is a fully vanilla tournament, no mods whatsoever. There was a previous randomizer tournament that was obviously based on using a lot of mods, but here we're just doing the game as intended, quote unquote. We have plenty of skips in here, but you'll see both of them are dropping into King's Pass. They're pausing the game to get early control and then doing that inventory drop. That inventory drop cancels a hard fall animation and uncaps our fall speed, so it's really useful because not being able to do those two things at the beginning of King's Pass loses you about 6 to 7 seconds in current patch. So they're going to be going through this tutorial area. We may see a sync from SpeedGaming here, and then when we get to the door, on the outside of King's Pass. Virgil and I will tell our first knock knock joke.
And it looks like there's the sink. This first area, or any area that before the runners get their first ability upgrade, is mostly going to just be momentum based and lots of specialized movement. As you can see, the Tipu not wasting time there by down pogoing the door. And Herm, you want to start us off with the first joke?
Knock knock.
Who's there?
Monomon.
Monomon who?
Mon oh mon, this race is going to be exciting.
Yes, indeed.
And credit to Slort for that as always, who wrote us a lovely 26 knock knock jokes. But this does give us a moment to remark on sort of a special part of this race that is not present in all of our matchups since they're randomized. Tipu and Taco actually have a rivalry. They started running this category at the same time, pretty much, and they've been competing against each other ever since. So this is just a really cool race to watch. Even from the perspective of just spectating the people at this tournament, because I think these folks have been itching for a race like this for a while, and they finally get one in the 5th and final round of Swiss.
Yep, looks like the first RNG god has struck as Taco and Tipu dropped through that really tall room with a bunch of gruzzers in it. Sometimes the gruzzers can fly in your way. It looks like Tipu got a little bit unlucky there. And here we are arriving onto the first arena. As you can see on Taco's screen, the runners will be performing hopefully what is a double spike kill. Looks like Taco got one and Tipu missed it, unfortunately. Not a big time loss, but just a little bit of a unsync at the start of the game.
Yes, so question in chat as to why they open the menu when they fall. That is what we call the inventory drop. It's something we do on this specific patch because it got patched out in later version of the game. It uncaps fall speed and cancels a hard fall animation that prevents us from moving. So yeah, it looks like both of them are on 2 mask vibes going through Crossroads here. It shouldn't be too much of a concern as we are only fighting False Knight through 1 cycle and typically isn't too much of a worry, but it is always worth noting when your health isn't where you want it to be.
Indeed. And as the runners are going up towards False Knight, looks like Taco is going for a safety heal while Tipu is going to not. Oh, nope. Both runners are going for a safety heal. That's pretty much a sync once again. I'm just here to say I hope I don't jinx this, that this wouldn't be a Fury tournament. A Fallen of the Fury.
Yes, no Fury strats. Yeah, unfortunately, despite the wonderful ability it is, healing does lose a lot of time. However, healing and losing time a little bit is a lot better than the substantial time loss you would take from any sort of death. So in the end, there are plenty of safety strats, and we might see if the runners do get to a point where one is significantly ahead, the runners may choose some of those. But there are a lot of ways that you can be slightly less optimal and significantly less risky, and we'll be seeing which choices the runners make throughout this race.
Yep, and as Herm has mentioned before, we will only be fighting through 1 cycle of the False Knight, as there is a dev intended skip on the left side of the arena. We see Tipu breaking free, saying no to False Knight and running past his geo chest, because first of all, we think that amount of money is not worth our time. We are speedrunners. We have way higher wages than that. Even though probably we only get like minimum wage from the Pale King for, saving the entire kingdom. But that's okay. He spent all of his money on blood souls. We will be just heading into the Ancestral Mound and getting our first spell ability.
Yes, so the Vengeful Spirit is an item, unless you are a runner of the particularly masochistic spell-less category, it is an item that is pretty much required to progress the game, but it's also going to do a whole lot of stuff for us. First of all, that Vengeful Spirit does 3 times the damage that our nail does, so it's a big damage upgrade. Second of all, we need to use it to kill boulders. We'll be killing one in the Ancestral Mound where we'll have to deal with some RNG, and we will kill another one through the cowardice of patch 1221 that allows us to get it in 1 hit off screen. And the third and final thing that we'll be seeing in a few minutes is we can use this Vengeful Spirit to stall ourselves in the air to do something called fireball skips. And those allow us to move through green path with essentially a fake dash because we don't want to go the long way around. We're not into exploring this realm. We've seen it a lot of times before. And so we'll be executing those skips as well.
Indeed, and here we have Rixie in the chat once again, being our lovely timekeeper and telling us that the runners are about 3 seconds apart by the time they gather their Vengeful Spirits. Everyone say thank you to Rixie because what a true legend who just,
Seriously.
we appreciate your effort a lot. Yeah. And,
yeah, so... Oh my gosh, look at them exiting mound 0.01 seconds apart. This is pretty great. We take that bench, we're going to be quitting back to that bench not once but twice. First after green path and then secondly after we get our Mantis Claw because it will allow us to get around the map. That Ancestral Mound bench is just a very, very accessible point that's central to where we want to go.
Indeed, yeah, at the beginning of the game there will be a few bench warpings, and sometimes you'll see, which is slightly scary in some cases because the runners will not get to sit at any other benches because that will hard save them to that one. And but at the end, once we see more ability gathering, unfortunately some abilities do hard save the runners, and we see they have to backtrack a little bit. Coming up here, there's the first fireball skip. Looks like Tipu made it, and Taco didn't quite get the turnaround. The fireball skip is an interesting skip which took me personally like 3 hours to get down, but I think a trick, at least if you're playing on controller, is just spamming the direction buttons. And this is a PSA from your lovely comms. If you, when you're doing a casual playthrough, normally you use your spell by tapping the focus button, right? Don't do that. That starts it on like frame 20. Don't do that. There is a quick cast button that is a lot easier to use and allows you to kill enemies faster. This concludes our lovely thoughts with Virgil.
Thank you for thoughts with Virgil. We have another update from Rixian, but briefly, let's see. Tipu gets that fireball skip and Taco does as well. So it looks like they are about 1.63 seconds entering green path, which does include the first missed fireball skip because enter green path is a split that works with when that text pops up. So this means that even though Taco didn't get that fireball skip, going around loses very little time. It's this second and this third that you can sort of mess up. And so we'll see Taco gets it with 2 and Tipu takes a few hits from his soul totem but gets it as well. So they're both going to be able to go into this tall room, and it looks like Taco will briefly take a heal here. Into this tall room about 2 seconds apart, and they need to gather 8 to 9 hits of soul to fight this Moss Knight coming up.
Yep, and as Herm mentioned, at the beginning of this run, there will be a lot of soul managing. Well, I guess throughout the run, there will always be soul managing points, and this is one of the big ones where it takes around 2 to 3 fireballs to get the kill. Looks like Tipu and Taco were able to scare the Moth Knight into a specific tactical retreat, as Herm likes to call it. And well, they were originally going to be able to. Yeah, they were going to kill it with 2 fireballs, but seems like Tipu just fired the third one to be sure, which I definitely respect. And they're still on the same pace, like almost exactly.
Very close together. And those Moss Knights, you just saw one, but boy, are we not through with them because we need to get plenty of soul here to fight our famed all skills Moss Knights. And we're going to see what kind of RNG they get here. It looks like, Taco's going to look down. It looks like looks like both of them have the poor RNG, unfortunately. Although, yeah, so they need to fight these to get a very substantial amount of Geo. The reason we need so much Geo early in the run is because we need to get scammed by Nailmaster Oro for 800 Geo, pretty much right after we get to City and kill Gorgeous Husk. So we need to deal with getting that money, and then after that, besides going and getting the King Station Stag, Geo routing be fairly simple. But the first part, Geo, is very tight. It's really important that you stay on track, and now they're going to go fight Hornet 1.
Yep, here is our lovely girl who unfortunately we will not be seeing in Silksong anytime soon. I am saying that because I want Calm Curse to be a thing and Silksong to come true very soon. Anyways, looks like Tipu is on 2 max currently, and Taco is going for the Fury strat for a bit, but now resorting to a heal. Both were able to take out, looks like are making decent work of Hornet. In this fight, mostly we just want to bully Hornet from corner to corner, and we don't want to see the Adale move where she throws her nail, because that actually resets her stagger. Yeah, I was gonna say stutter.
Yeah, so that move is definitely bad, but also it's bad for her stagger count, but it's also good in a way in that it lets us deal a lot of damage. So it sort of depends on where in the fight it pops up. But both of them had decent Hornet fights, so I'd say Tipu's was significantly better in terms of RNG as well as just not having to take a heal. So it does put them, it seems they're about 6 seconds apart at this point. But now they're going to be heading into the Fungal Wastes to grab Mantis Claw.
Yeah, and I didn't know this, but if you look at the Twitch chat term, I don't know if you have curse words blocked off, but Zote is counted as a curse word in Twitch chat? Or is that just my Twitch being weird to me?
I don't have them blocked off, so I would not know, but that is most curious. Yeah, interesting. So we're going to be heading down. We're going to be doing a lot of inventory drops. I'm still wondering about that curse words thing, Virgil. I don't know what Twitch settings you have on.
I don't know.
Yeah, like inventory drops are a thing, they're happening, but also, how did Virgil set her Twitch in such a manner that Zote is a curse word? I don't know. But what I can know is that we're going to be heading into the Fungal Waste. It's a really interesting movement section because we have dash, but we don't have claw, so we can slide down some walls and stuff. And now we're going to be heading into sort of a section of 2 skips shortly. The first one is the famed Explosion Pogo, which on 1-2-2-1 is fairly manageable with substantial practice. It is, well, until the recent discovery of Comfy Pogo, much harder on current patch. And then we're going to be doing the Mantis Pogo to get up to our claw.
Yep, and as Galaxy Wings is mentioning in chat, there's a lot of really fun and like aesthetically pleasing movements in Fungal Waste, because we do not have the claw yet, which means the inventory dropping against a wall without cleaning to it is a possibility. Looks like Tipu got the E-Pogo on first try, and Taco's going for it right now, fingers crossed. Oh,
yeah, that is miss. Unfortunate. He's going to decide to go around at this point, which is actually tactically a very interesting decision, because going around loses a lot of time. However, with him being at 2 masks, it's obviously going to lose less time than a death. But this will put Taco about 40 seconds behind, which is really, really substantial compared to his previous deficit of about 6 seconds. So obviously this isn't a race-ending decision, and frankly it's a lot better than taking a death here in Fungal, but it is going to really separate these runners out, at least for the foreseeable future, especially with Taco having to take some more heals here. But from Tipu, you saw a very solid Mantis Pogo, and a quit back to Mound for we're going to head over to our best pal Salubra, or Sally, and grab Shaman Stone.
Yep, indeed. And something we didn't get to mention with Tipu's skip in the Mantis Village, as you see Taco perform there was a lovely Mantis Pogo where we used the baby mantises as step ladders to climb up and skip having to go around the village one more time.
I see somebody saying the tactically interesting decision is a big fail. I mean, I would argue here that dying to an explosion pogo attempt and having to deal with going all the way back down through Fungal is a significantly bigger fail. So it is an unfortunate decision to have to make, but as you can see with Rixian, they are now 44 seconds apart, that gap widening by 38 seconds, and that pretty much is because of Taco needing to go around in that situation. So Tipu does have to get some soul from Jennifer, which is, you really hate to see it. Jennifer is that husk outside of the entrance to Gruz's mother, and she's just vibing, but he will take her soul and go fight Gruz's mother, who only has 95 health. So it's a very, very easy fight. We're just looking, unfortunate RNG though, you really don't want Gruz's mother to start slamming around. But now we're going to be focused on cleaning up all 8 of her children.
Yes, indeed. Usually here at the Grandmother fight, as we can see Tipu demonstrate, there's usually 2 soul gauges the runners have left, and they will fire 2 fireballs using those to clean up most of their children. Tipu did a, in my opinion, slightly unorthodox way of firing those fireballs, which usually is simultaneously jumping up and then on your way down firing up and down, so cleaning out 2 rows, but it was still a decent cleanup nonetheless.
Yeah, it was actually fairly good, because really what you don't want to do there is you really don't want to have to deal with, that was a very fast Gruz's mother from Taco, that will make him a little bit of time up. You really don't want to have to deal with hitting those Gruzzers with your nail, as it just wastes a lot of time, so Tipu was able to do it fully with spells, and that's very helpful. We'll see how Taco's cleanup is here. Yeah, does have to grab one with that nail, which is unfortunate. But we'll move to Shaman Stone here from Tipu. Yes, that was an intentional death. We are still gaming over here, and this is a shade skip that will allow us to hop up to the blue lake and get access to right side.
Yes, indeed. Bubba is saying in the chat, is the knight a midwife? I do not support the idea of midwives helping give birth by murdering. That doesn't sound good.
Yes, I think this exposes a great deal of the questionable ethics that permeate Hollow Knight lore. Lore talk with Herm and Virgil at an undisclosed time, but jinkies. So here we'll see from Tipu heading into Right Side City for the first time of a few. We sort of hop back and forth through Right Side City for the next segment of this run, as Taco does get his shade skip. So what we're going to be doing here is we're going to be going down and fighting the richest lad in the land, the gorgeous Husk, who in my opinion is really not gorgeous, but definitely has the money necessary for us to call it gorgeous for a little bit, as it drops a very dank 420 geo.
Oh no. I mean, it is shiny, so shiny things are pretty. I gotta say that. But yeah, as Herm has mentioned, geo is important at the start of the run in this particular category, because we will be getting scammed by a few things, including the Nail Master and this King Station stag, which you see here slightly, but it's none of our concern for the time being. As we see Tipu sitting on the bench, which we'll be bench warping back to later, he goes for a pretty swag strat there with the enemy on the right side, hoping to pogo it in order to get on that platform, taking a bit of damage, but that's okay, because this is going to be a really short adventure of just robbing a gorgeous Husk and then returning to the bench.
Yes, so what we're going to be looking for here with the gorgeous Husk, Taco on 1 mask, but thankfully it's going to make to the bench. We're looking for very tight damage rotation. We want to do some specific nail swings and then get double hits on the fireballs, and then hope that geo falls in a favorable pattern. Looks pretty good, and it appears, yeah, Tipu is in a good place with geo, close to 750 here, so we're going to have to be getting some geo from hoppers, and he should be just in the right place to not have to do too much, though we'll be getting a bit extra just looking forward to King Station in the future. But we'll see how Taco's gorgeous Husk goes. Thankfully, takes that health refresh from a bench and is back on track with 5 masks.
Yep. And Rixie in the chat, I don't think we mentioned this. The Blue Lake. I think we did. Yeah, the Blue Lake segment seems like Taco had made up 2 seconds of time, which is good. Taco facing the gorgeous Husk, getting a bit off of rhythm at first, but it seems to recover a little bit. Tipu offing to go for that bottom strategy. I don't know if it was because he fell.
It may not have been intentional. It's really rare. Typically, you're just moving through the top section of that room. That Bellfly does deal 2 mass of damage, and getting hit by it can be a little bit scary in this case, simply because this Kingdom's Edge, first of all, those hoppers, as you can already see, Tipu falling to 1 mask, pretty volatile. They can just sort of, hop right into you. but also the primal aspids, regarded by many as the worst enemy in the game, can just sort of fire a heat-seeking bullet at you, and that will ruin your day. So Tipu trying to take a heal here and thankfully gets one off. That can be dicey with aspids in the area. And hopefully we'll be okay. Very good on Geo, so just needs to make it to Oro, buy dash slash, and quit out.
Yeah, someone's saying about Taco's Geo accounts. He's actually
No, he actually may be a bit low.
I mean, usually at this area, runners have around 730, so I think he'd be fine, but I'm not sure.
Yeah, I think that it's just gonna, yeah, I am not sure of the exact geo count that's desirable out of dash slash above 800, but I've seen, in my experiences as a commentator, I've seen a lot of things. I mean, you can see Taco here, like having to get geo from an aspid. That's not so great. 801. Oh, we were talking about Taco, not Tipu. Yes. Okay. Herm's brain has come back into the world. Taco is definitely low on geo. As you can see by the fact he had to kill an aspid for geo. That is certainly not what you want to see, especially because those aspids drop a 6 or 8 geo, I believe. And we'll just sneak in with that 801. Yeah. So thankfully is able to get back, and yeah, Herm's brain has returned just as Tipu has returned to city, and we'll head up to Watcher's Spire. Hello, Sierra.
Hi, Sierra. Welcome. Yeah, and I guess that's something interesting to point out is that there is a bit more geo-routing in the end, and with Tipu being at 36 and Taco being at 1, it will be a little bit of time lost for Taco, I believe. But Tipu missed both of the dev intended.
Yeah, that is really not something you see often. The Spire Pogo is dev intended. It is something every single time I've watched a race, I've always thought to myself, I wonder if someone will miss Spire Pogo. And here we are. So we'll hopefully, yeah, lines it right up again. I mean, this is something they're very practiced in, and Tipu's able to get it the second time. Thankfully, those background objects simply reload if you go into another room. But yeah, Tipu did miss both tries of that, and that will lose him a decent amount of time having to take that elevator down and back up. So we'll see if Taco gets it first try. I estimate he will. No. And Tipu having some real trouble in this dark room, and it's going to take a safety bench. The issue with this room is that it doesn't load in because we are lever skipping through it, as you'll see Taco do here shortly, climbing up, hitting that lever through the floor. It opens the room, but it does not load it in because you haven't opened any of the levers necessary for that. And so that's the issue here. Taco really struggling to get up as well. Both of them having some significant trouble in these rooms, but looks like Taco will progress through and make it out without having to take that safety bench.
Yeah, I think despite both runners having a bit of trouble there, Tipu definitely wasted a little bit more time than Taco, so agree. They might be, like, instead of 40 seconds apart, it might be about 30 seconds apart there. And Tipu missed a storage clean, so that's interesting. Maybe a little bit of race nervous getting to them.
Yeah, and somebody asking for a Rava. I mean, Rava, exactly. I mean, these lads are quite brutal, but the true brutality comes in this enemy that Tipu is facing right now, the Soul Twister. These lads are quite annoying in that they will teleport right into you throughout Soul Sanctum, which is the area we'll be frequenting next. But the good news is we're going to be picking up, using our spicy new dash flash, the Shade Soul, which is the upgraded Vengeful Spirit, and it allows us to do up to 80 damage if we get a double hit, 40 damage per with our Shaman Stone. And so it's very nice. You'll see Tipu picking it up right now and Taco picking it up shortly. It's going to be a huge help here.
Yep, dash slash is an interesting mechanic on this patch, which is primarily also why all skills is ran in 1221, because it allows us to skip several doors, but only in Soul Sanctum, because apparently the levers in Crystal Mounts and Crystal Peaks is not overall. So the devs were just like, the devs had the intuition. They knew that someone would have needed to access the doors in Soul Sanctum specifically. So they were like, let's put dash slash there.
Or Team Cherry I say TC chowed that one. It's probably some Team Cherry Spaghetti. This game has some interesting coding in it. Tipu really having a time with that elevator there. And we'll fight this first Soul Warrior. It looks like, according to Rixian, the gap narrowed by 22 seconds there, which really doesn't surprise me based on the difficulties Tipu had. But as you saw from that Soul Warrior fight, our Shade Soul is a weapon. Taco kind of taking a while, getting some nasty RNG there. But it allows us to blast through that Soul Warrior's 180 hit points, or it may be 200 actually, very quickly. And yeah, those Soul Twisters are being a really good degree of bully.
Oh no, Tipu getting
back. Oh no, that is not a situation you want to be in. But thankfully, we do get to skip what many will call the Hell Room. It's a room with 3 Soul Twisters that they're entering right now, but we just dash slash straight through it, head in through the top, and we're going to be able to get into the Soul Master fight quite efficiently. But at this point, it is somewhat inadvisable to take a bunch of heals due to the fact that we want to use those spells.
Ooh, also, you really hate to see it that Taco forgot he was on full soul, so he couldn't collect the soul jar. And Tipu had to use one of the soul jars, which means one of his shade souls, instead of on the offensive, going for a safety strategy and healing, which is definitely respectable in a race setting, and he still has a bit of lead. But yeah, that's just unfortunate.
Yes. I think that it's interesting. Soul Master is one of those fights where really top runners will go for a quick kill, but overall we're able to get through his health pool fairly quickly simply due to the fact that he is an early to mid-game boss, and we have a late-game spell with a charm that completely buffs it. But we'll see how this second phase goes. Sometimes Soul Master can just give you really poor RNG with a ton of teleports, and we just want him to not.
Yep. And I mean, the first part RNG, I don't think it was okay for both runners. They got some lucky doubles in, but there were still some annoying attacks. Tipu got a decent second phase, and I think so did Taco.
Yeah, so that seemed pretty decent for both of them. We'll see the separation. Upon picking up that dive, it does look relatively similar, but we'll have to see when Rixian brings in the authority for us. And so yes, we're going to be, unfortunately, as Virgil mentioned earlier in this race, some ability pickups do hard save us, and Desolate Dive is one of them. So we're going to be needing to exit Sanctum manually. And thankfully, our lever skip helps us a lot with that, as we can get through this door. You may be wondering, oh, well, there's this seal right there. That's really free geo. We actually do not sell to Lem once in this entire run. And as you can see with Tipu's 299 geo, he's going to be able to skip actually a pretty significant amount of enemies on the way out to King Station, which will definitely make him up some time, as opposed to Taco, who has a lot less. But yeah, we're going to be leaving manually down through the Soul Warrior room, and then we're going to head to King Station and spend 300 geo on the stag. And it looks like they are still 22 seconds apart, only a 1 second difference through that Sanctum.
Yep. Yeah, Tipu literally needs only 1 extra geo. That is crazy to think about. What are the odds of that? And yeah, as Sarah is mentioning, we really rely on Rixian's time. It is truly legendary work that they do here. Tipu having a little bit more trouble with the elevator.
Yeah, these elevators do not seem to be his best friend today, which is most unfortunate. But it's okay. In the end, if the elevator won't be your friend, you must make another friend, and perhaps that friend will be this bench we're taking at Watcher's Fire, because it is a very important bench. Virgil and I love to remark on the fact that Crystal Peak is one of the worst places to die in the run, and that is because we're benching here at Watcher's Fire, and we are holding that bench down until we come back with Crystal Heart and Ascending Dark. And what that means is that if you die in Peaks, you're going to end up back here at Watcher's Fire. It'll take you about 30 seconds to get to King Station, and then you have to go through all of Peaks again to get to wherever you were. So it can be pretty devastating, and it means that health management is super important in this split.
Yes, and as I believe, cursed Taco 3 out of the 4 times I come.
Oh no!
Let me try to anti-curse it by saying I hope both runners die in Crystal Peaks and never come back. Please
Yes,
nobody take that out of
Virgil
context.
is famous for cursing Taco into at the end of Crystal Peaks. Part of the reason why our health management is so important is that we need to do with our dash slash, we do a trick that gives us early control after picking up Descending Dark. It saves about 15 seconds. And Virgil somewhat cursed Taco into doing this trick on one mask, causing him to die instead of getting early control. And that was quite unfortunate. So hopefully we will not, well, if we're anti-cursing, hopefully both runners will manage their health quite poorly and fail to remember their health during the early control, dying in a very terrible place.
Yeah, and looks like Taco actually was able to make up that geo difference swiftly. Maybe a bit of time lost, but I think that would equal out to the little bit of trouble the elevators gave Tipu. So
Yeah. At the moment of pause, it seems they're about 15 seconds apart. Yeah, Rixian coming in hot with that King Station split. They are 15 seconds apart at this point. So we're really just going to have to see how Peak goes. Peak is a ton of movement. It is very based on cycles. We'll see several rooms that are very explicitly cycled, others where it's just important to move through them in a specific way. But yeah, it's going to be really interesting. This is a section that requires a lot of practice and a lot of refinement. So we're just going to see who has their cycles down, who's ready to adapt if they get off cycle, all that good stuff.
yes, indeed. But before we get into the stressful Peaks area, we get to visit, one of our lovely NPCs in this game called Mila. Another thing that Herm and I agree on is the fact that we do not condemn any Mila hurting or abuse. So
yes,
let's hope both runners leave her be, and we're just going to be in this next screen quickly saying hi to Mila. As you can see down at the bottom corner, there's a tiny
very happy. Does not need to be disturbed at all. Even if you don't like her, just don't visit her. It's why Virgil and I are together working on a tutorial on how to not kill Mila, so that those who may have been led astray or led to believe that killing Mila is a proper decision to make can understand that it's just that easy to not kill her. But for now, we're going to be heading into Peak. And so as you can see already, a notable thing, and probably why you saw Taco grab a lot of soul, is that there's not too many opportunities to grab soul here in Peak. Simply because most of the enemies have sort of shells on them, or in this case, he will dive to get a little bit of geo, get things out of the way. But you are not going to be able to do a lot of easy soul gathering in some of these rooms, especially the platforming heavy ones. So these folks are going to be heading into some very cycle rooms, as you can see with these crystal crawlers, and just heading on up. This is a climb that just requires a lot of precision.
Yeah, indeed. Looks like Taco was going for a god cycle there, missed it.
Oh,
unfortunately.
Tipu!
And
Holy cow!
No, please. Tipu. There. Okay. It looks like Tipu was hesitating. If he could have gone left there, because in the left area there is indeed a big enemy, which can be a soul totem if you are willing to grind it out. But oh, it looks like he's gonna reset the room and get even more soul.
That makes a lot of sense. Somebody who has ended up on one mask in that room several times. If you want to go for certain pogos or something, it just makes sense to reset the room, get the cycle where you want it to be, because everything is messed up after soul farming. We'll get some more soul from this Glim back going forward. And so Taco is now definitely going to be close to being in the lead, or if not, just in the lead in general, as he goes through this Crystal Heart platforming. Now, this is what we're really talking about with the cycles. There's a damage tank cycle that is about 4 seconds faster than the damage list cycle Taco is on. Hopefully we'll be seeing an underplat here. Yes, underplat woo. And so that was some very nice movement from Taco there, getting to Crystal Heart on 4 masks. This is our super dash, and it's going to let us do some fun stuff in overall zoom. But thankfully that was good stuff from Taco. We'll see Tipu starting. We use this dash slash, although Tipu would not use it. Typically, you'll use a dash slash to stall yourself in the air there. But Taco will be exiting the room, and it looks like Tipu is taking a lot of damage. This is very, very scary because once you're off cycle, things are very unpredictable.
Yeah. Oh, looks like Taco is saving a grub. That is very respectful indeed.
Oh, you really do love to see it. Oh, Jinkies.
Looks like Tipu is definitely off cycle. And on Taco's part, after he navigates through this room with all these crushers, we'll be experiencing the first official dark room in the area. Looks like Tipu went for the
one mask. That
Monkus.
Beyond, I was trying not to talk because I just felt like it was gonna get so cursed. That is beyond respectable. You really do love to see it because that takes a bold spirit and a strong heart to go to underplat on one mask. And I don't know if it was intentional, but we're gonna say it was. We're gonna say underplat woo. Good job, Tipu, in the chat. Take a deep breath if you're listening. And here's this dark room from Taco. We have to do several dark rooms in this game. This is sort of the smaller one. And they are, because we don't buy the lantern, saves us 1800 geo and saving Sly. But now, yes, I think in the future, I was simply too in awe of what was going on to provide a competent counter curse in that situation. It was just a whole bunch of consecutive Jinkies moments taking my breath away, and Tipu is back on one mask, so I guess at this point I will note that I really hope he dies, and I think he will. Frankly, in the middle of Crystal Peaks, very terrible place to die. I believe in Tipu to do it.
Yeah, it looks like Taco damagelessly parkoured through that crystallized mounts area, and will be demonstrating the lovely dash slash and early control. Just a lovely
four masks. Very good. And Tipu saving the all skills grub. There's no reason not to do it unless you're some sort of soulless person who doesn't believe in saving grubs. Taco giving a hee-hee in the chat. You love to see it. And here's the dark room from Tipu. Looks like he used a spell to get that Crystal Hunter out of the way and going very carefully through the dash dark room, taking his time. And you don't blame him at all because any fall here will start you at the beginning of the room. It's quite dangerous. So, speaking of difficult platforming, we have the dream platforming section from Taco.
Yeah, and I guess keeping up with the time, Rixie in the chat is saying that now Tipu is about 45 seconds behind Taco, so that was a little bit of a difficult segment for Tipu to go through, but nonetheless, a 60-second time loss, it's still significantly better than dying in the area. And now that he has 3 health and a dream, looks like Tipu will be successfully navigating this area and getting that early control opportunity as well.
Yes, so Tipu getting the early control, and here we're going to see the dream platforms, something that was pain and suffering for me on my casual playthrough. Don't really know why, but if you fall, it's just very annoying. Thankfully, we get to see dash through many of them, and we'll be seeing a small underplat here. Underplat Woo, 2 Electric Boogaloo, and there's the Dream Nail. We're gonna grab the Dream Nail. Seer will try to talk to us. We will completely ignore her and quit out to that bench we took at the Watcher's Spire a good while ago.
So yes, congrats to those runners for making out of that area alive. I'm definitely going to contribute it all to my anti-cursing skills. No, I'm not. Seriously, props to those runners. They're on a pretty good pace, at least in my opinion.
Yes, and it appears, according to Rixian, that they are about a minute apart at this point, but we're really just going to have to see, because this Watcher Knight's fight, while we do have substantially more damage than those in the any percent or low percent categories, yeah, we have more damage than those in our own category. Herm Brain has taken another vacation. We do have significantly more damage than those in some other categories. We do kind of have to make some careful damage tanks, and it's a fight that can, I was talking to somebody, I believe it was Jamie earlier today, just expressing it's a fight that can really get out of hand, as she stated. And basically what that means is you can just sort of tank a few points of damage because you have invincibility frames from Descending Dark, and then suddenly you are one mask, and oh, perhaps it was Rhino. I talked to so many people in the past 24 hours. Maybe it was both, who knows? But you could really end up on one mask, and then that's the fight. That's a death. So we'll just see how it is from Taco here. These lads die in about 2 3/4 descending dorks. And we're looking for RNG much better than what Taco's getting initially.
Yeah, because this is a D-Dark heavy segment, we'll be hoping for lots of just nail swings in general, because unlike any percent where sometimes people do hope for doubles on fireballs, D-Dark really does help us play it safer and faster in this scenario.
Rixian mentioning that he wants Herm and Virgil to commentate their life. I would adore that. I have long wanted to do sort of a mock commentary video of how Herm's day is going.
Oh my gosh.
Just for the memes. But that is actually very solid Watcher Night fight from Taco in that completely alive, nothing to worry about. Got decent RNG on some of the later parts, and now is going to head up to take Lurian.
Yes, indeed. Our first Dreamer, and looks like Tipu will be starting the fight shortly as well. Yeah, and Taco scaling the building, which is something I always find really funny. Like, just imagine when this is like real life, and instead of an elevator, you go like, nah, and then just... Nah. Elevators, I sleep. Climbing up elevators, people arrive. That's how this works.
I'm gonna switch audio just because Taco's substantially in the lead this point. But yeah, we will eliminate our first Dreamer, Lurian, who I always found a little bit odd simply because the other two, Mon is a renowned scientist, Hera is the leader of a fearsome group of people, and Lurian is just there looking. We don't really know what's up with him, but he's gone now. So there you go. Somebody mentioning the knock-knock jokes. We do knock-knock jokes at the first door, the King's Pass door, and at the Abyss door, which will be coming up in probably around 20 minutes or so. So there will be another knock-knock joke, I promise. It is happening. We are on schedule.
Yes, and I love the fact that your username is please use other doors. So, which makes sense in a Hollow Knight context because the Knight has no appreciation for, you know, public services and communities, because every door the Knight goes through, they break down everything. There is no doors left by the time the Knight has traveled through the kingdom.
It is very true. Okay, so now we're going to be heading into what is regarded as one of the most difficult sections of the run, and that is because we have to execute 3 very precise skips back to back. The first of these is a spike tunnel that we will be taking into Isma's Grove, because we don't want to waste the time of getting a simple key, opening waterways, going through waterways, fighting Dung Defender, and then doing a whole bunch of other stuff. We are fast, so we're going to do a spike tunnel, and it can be quite precise. And then after that, because we want to get through Isma's tier as quickly as possible, we're going to be doing 2 acid skips. Oh, and a brief update from Rixian here. It looks like they are now 52 seconds apart, with Tipu having made up 7 seconds. So Tipu is on the up and up, but we're really just going to have to see how this spike tunnel goes. You can see Taco packed a lot of soul for the road here. He has had some difficulty with this in the past, and it is extremely precise. So you can't blame him.
Yeah, definitely. And the spike tunnel is interesting in the way that usually runners also have to save 1 soul gauge here, because we will be performing looks like that's a 5th try is the term. Not bad at all. The runners will have to fire a shaped soul into the distance, because sometimes there is an enemy blocking our way. But in this way, we just get rid of them so that no RNG can, mess with us.
Yes. Rixian noting that Tipu did miss 50 geo, which should be okay simply because geo routing is not as harsh in this later part of the run. But do note that Taco successfully did both of the acid skips, which is very nice. We'll see how long this spike tunnel takes Tipu here, but gets that worm for early control out of Isma's Grove, and will now head out. And looks like a 2nd try spike tunnel for Tipu. That is going to be a substantial time gain for him simply because of the fact that I think it took Taco like 6 or 7 tries. And so Taco also on one mask, which is a little bit scary, will definitely elect to take a heal.
Yeah, especially since there is a infamous Ravas room coming up with all the Ravas, and it will be scary to go through that room with 1 HP.
And Taco taking, no, not Taco, Tipu taking 2 misses on this acid skip so far, which is unfortunate. There's a third. It looks like really is just ending up too high and is going to figure out how to get some soul here. There's a Blug Sack up there that you can Dream Mail. However, it is guarded by a Bellfly that deals 2 massive damage, so it's probably not your optimal choice. We'll see another shot at this. This looks like a better, but dunks at the end. Really unfortunate. At this point, I mean, I really hope Tipu dies. It seems like it's going to happen. I think that death is the option here, because he can then shade skip optimally, of course, into the grove. So it looks like that second acid skip is very much successful. And here's the third.
Oh no.
I shouldn't have said it was successful.
Oh, nice save from Tipu. Oh god.
Yeah, good save. It looks like he's going for the setup here. There is a big debate between setup and setupless.
No, Tipu.
That is an unfortunate death for Tipu. Oh boy, we should have kept the anti-curse up. But this is really, really tough because you respawn all the way at the top of Watcher's Spire. Meaning you have to do that whole descent again, and you have to redo the spike tunnel, and you have to redo the first acid skip, and you don't have as much soul available to you. So it can just be a really difficult walk back. That is probably going to, barring something pretty severe from Taco, it's going to swing the race substantially in his favor.
Yeah, definitely. And scrolling through the chat, I believe someone asked for the runner's PBs. Taco's PB, as we've gotten from him, is at 58, 30. I saw an 8 and I went for
What's your all skills PB? 80. No, just 80.
And then Tipu's is 1 hour and, well, 1 hour almost exactly. So we're hoping to see sub hours for both people here. Looks like Taco is having a bit of trouble with the swag strat of
the basin skip. It saves 2 to 3 seconds, and it saves time if you get it within the first 3 tries, but after that it is a time loss. So Taco choosing to go around and also making the very wise choice we've seen a few runners make, especially in later rounds. Good spike tunnel from Tipu there to open the Broken Vessel shortcut. I have watched and cursed Taco as he died to Broken Vessel before, and this fight is sort of like Watcher Knights in that it can really get out of hand. Taco in the chat reminding us there's still Hornet too. That's very true. But the Broken Vessel only has 525 HP, so it's a pretty quick fight, but you can also just take a lot of damage and things can really go the wrong way. And it looks like Tipu gets it together. We'll grab Isma's tier right here. You really do love to see executing all those skips after taking a death. You know, that can be a real mental barrier, and Tipu is able to overcome that and still get through those really difficult skips very cleanly. So congrats to him right there.
Yep, definitely. So these two are going to be about a basin apart, I believe. And as
approximately
Taco,
1 ancient basin apart.
Yeah, and as Taco has just gotten the Monarch wings, which always intrigues me because at this point you're not a Monarch yet, so why does the Monarch wing recognize you as the Monarch? And if I have the Monarch wing, can I use
the King's brand that really recognizes you as a Monarch?
Yeah, exactly. So I don't know why I can't open the doors by just flashing my wings in front of it, but that's okay. And Tipu having a bit of trouble with the Rava room.
Oh no.
Shouldn't have said that.
Goodness.
Oh my gosh.
Virgil. It is okay. We accept what we can accept. That room is really annoying. If you get poor RNG, mess up your C dash, you could just sort of get hit, and then things can really decline from there. So Tipu will be taking another trip down from the Watcher's Spire. This pretty much seals it for Taco at this point, but we will still be cheering Taco on and Tipu on as both of them continue. to run their best that they can run today. And additionally, it's important to just note that while this is a very long walk back, thankfully Tipu does not have to do the Isthmus skips this time. So he will be able to head straight down into Basin, pick up his shade, and in the end, it's a lot more efficient in terms of a death compared to dying in the second room of Isthmus tier.
Yeah, definitely. And looks like Taco just grabbed the stag, and now we're heading on to the important 2 fight, where, you know, still once again, why play Silk Song when you can just say hi to the Hornet 2 during an all-skill run at least 3 times is what Herm and I would like to advertise.
Yes, reject waiting for Silk Song, embrace running all skills and getting to see Hornet so many times. Clean RNG for Tipu right there. We'll be able to grab his shade right here with a simple Shade Soul and head down into Basin on full health. So you'll love to see it. And here, Taco is going to go up to Hornet 2. We're going to see, I am not familiar if anybody in chat is aware of whether or not he's on PB pace. I don't think so, but I'm not sure. But he's taking the Hornet 2 safety bench. This is one of those safety strats Virgil and I mentioned previously. This is just, it allows you, if you die to Hornet 2, to have a significantly shorter walk back than what you would normally have at the Stag. And so for that reason, since Hornet 2 is one of the toughest fights in this entire run, especially if you're not in PB pace range, as somebody in chat is noting, thank you very much. It's just a wise choice to make in a race setting, because it will make your life a lot less painful and help you seal a win.
Yeah, and Tipu has successfully and safely made it to Basin, so maybe we'll get a boss fight on both screens at the same time, which will be interesting to watch.
Yes, we're gonna have to see how long Hornet 2. I mean, I think at this point it would take a good amount of parries. Hornet has now magically picked the ability to parry our spells, which is very unfortunate as it is a waste of soul, time, energy, mental health, all of the above. We really don't want to see it. And overall, this is just such a difficult fight because we basically have our nail as a little soul gathering stick, and then our upgraded spells, and we're just trying to do the best that we can. But deaths to Hornet 2 are very common, even among those who are quite practiced at the fight, so hopefully we won't be seeing one of those from Taco today. But has been getting pretty decent RNG. You do want to see that needle throw, because her stagger values are much higher in this fight, and you're just more focused on getting in as much damage as you can. So, but it really looks like Taco is not having the best time here. Yeah, that is unfortunate. But that is why you take that safety bench, as we mentioned. This is the solution to that problem. Deaths to Hornet 2 are, like we said, super common, and it's got that bench back. It's
Oh gosh, okay, so on Tipu's screen, things are not looking very good. Either it is worth noting that Tipu did not open the safety passage right next to the Broken Vessel fight. So anti-curse, I hope Tipu dies here and has to walk back all the way around again. And I'm really sorry if my curse is saying that I want to see boss fights on both screens.
You got your wish. Yes, I think we all really hope Tipu dies, and look, there you go, effective anti-cursing with Herm and Virgil. It is the way to protect the runners as they use skill to actually do well at these boss fights instead of listening to us.
Yeah.
But yeah, people noting Tipu staggered EV out of a headbang, which is nice because that attack is quite the time, but also in some ways it is good because it allows us to just spam D-darts if we have the soul. But Taco's on his second round with Hornet 2 now. Somebody in chat is asking, Taco is in need of an anti-curse. Yeah, I was about to start, and then I don't think he needed it anymore. Somebody in chat is asking, would you feel bad if you anti-curse somebody and then they died. Well, I have a funny story for you. One time when my dear friend and co-commentator Virgil was on comms, she says, I hope Chomps does not make it to the bench that is right there. And at that very moment, Chomps died. So it has happened before, and it was a precious moment that you can find in the clips somewhere. I am most sure of it. But it looks like they're about 4 minutes apart now. Those additional deaths are definitely sealing it pretty significantly for Taco at this point, as they're about a kingdom's edge apart.
Yeah, and going back to the question, would you feel bad? Yes, at least I did. And it looks
I feel bad.
I felt bad. I felt so bad. Oh my gosh. But yeah, it looks like Taco was able to handle Hornet 2 quite well. And I don't want to jinx it, but I hope no further shenanigans goes on with Umu. Because
Yes.
as we know, Umu can also be a bully.
Yes, we'll be heading to Umu soon, but first we get to do this split that I have always joked. If I were to run all skills, as neither Virgil nor I are formal speedrunners, I would run Cyclone/ILs, because this segment of the run is like, it's like a deep breath in of relaxation after all of the Isma skips and Basin and Hornet 2 that is very intense. We're just sort of sea-dashing along. We get to have a little KP People Arrive moment as we go back through King's Pass. It's very calm. It's entirely movement-based. We don't really need to hurt a fly at this point. And so it's kind of a relaxing, enjoy the piece of Cyclone Slash on Taco's screen as you watch the chaotic fury of Hornet 2 on Tipu's.
Yeah, and also, we don't need to hurt a fly proceeds to kill like several enemies on your C-dash way. Very nice. This is the pacifist run, Hollow Knight edition.
Oh boy. Yeah, Tipu not taking that safety bench there. I mean, at this point, it really makes sense if he's hoping for Taco to take an inopportune death or something of the like in Dark Deepness later in this run. It makes sense that he wants to keep playing as quickly as possible, as it's the only way to get back in the race. But we'll hope that he doesn't need to wish he took that safety bench going into this fight.
Yeah, and Taco is currently in KP now, so people please arrive. There is a C-dash segment. Let's hope no wacky RNG stops him. There is indeed none. So
People, please arrive. Virgil,
People.
I love that so much. Something about that really sparks joy. People, please arrive.
Please.
People, please leave.
No. We do not promote leaving in this section. And yeah, just giving a visit to a Neomaster who is kind enough to not scam us.
Yes, Taco's taking some heals there. After taking a heal, gets directly impaled, which is most unfortunate. This is Tipu, not Taco. Jinkies. Tipu is going to be... It appears that he's attempting to play this fight somewhat safe and get enough soul gradually. Going for those D-Darks, always very wise during that needle throw attack, as Hornet is essentially a sitting duck there. Taco picks up Cyclone Slash. I don't know if we saw a bow there, which is unfortunate, because you really do hate to see it when there's not a bow. But yeah. Tipu getting through Hornet 2 successfully, you love to see it. Very admirable to be able to do that first try and just head off to get King's Brand. But now we're going to be hearing from our favorite orange jellyfish, Umu.
Yeah, and I love the orange jellyfish thing, you know, it's just the perfect combination of what most people feel as they're going for the jellies. I know that Tipu said when he gets there he will be trying out the lovely strategy that Valley has came up with for the one cycle Umu, but I'm not sure which strategy Taco is going for, so that will be very interesting to see.
Yeah, I mean, the nice thing about Hollow Knight all skills runs versus any percent, or even more cursed variants such as low percent or spellless, is that we can get a one cycle on Umu. It's not the easy as pie thing you'll find on the Hollow Knight wiki using Shaman Shriek, but we can do it with Shade Soul, and how we need to do it is we need to get Umu to stand in 3 very specific locations, and then sort of work it out from there. But interesting note from Rixian, it appears that the gap closed by 1 minute and 41 seconds with Taco dying to Hornet, and that's because even though Taco took that safety bench, he was substantially into the fight by the time he died, so he had to repeat all of that. So about 2 minutes got shaved off. We're just gonna have to see how Umu plays with Taco, and also how Taco plays against Umu, as well as if Tipu continues to go well through the next 3 sessions of the run.
Yes, definitely. And oh, Taco seems like he didn't take the bench to reset his soul count, so he is only at 2 health going into Umu.
Yes,
Interesting
that
choice.
is a choice that is an optimal one to make. However, it does not really cost you too much to take that bench. But we don't take it because Monomon hard saves us, so we take the bench after going through archives. But it can be very, very dicey. 2 health against Umu. It can just sort of float into you, or you can just deal with some electricity happening where you don't want it to be. And so we'll see. But yeah, Taco on 1 mask.
And also, was that an extra attack? That's an extra attack that we just gave him, right?
Yes, I believe it was. Yeah, that was definitely an extra because you really want to set Umu up by that wall, and Taco will miss the 1 cycle on Umu. That is a time loss and a death. Okay, so the real time loss was the Umu death we found along the way, unfortunately. That is a pretty significant time loss right there, because Taco did not take that bench, ending up on 2 health, which is honestly something I think it's one of the most common things we've seen runners end up doing, is they walk into Umu on 2 masks, feel like, okay, I've got a 1 cycle, I've got this, and then they just sort of have a little error, and boom, that's all your health gone. You're back at Dirtmouth. You have to go through Fog Canyon again into archives. And so this is pretty unfortunate death here. I don't think it will fully even out the race, but it will make things a lot closer. Because there's no Taco didn't take that bench, so he's got to walk all the way back.
Yeah, definitely. And I think something that's interesting to point out is that as this tournament has progressed, we've seen runners get better and better in the way that, like, at first, most deaths were clumped at broken vessels and everything, but now we have progressed to the point where people can do that area deathless, and who knows, maybe these will all become legendary runners at one point. And looks like Taco decided to aggro that jelly. Okay.
That's the jelly that killed Chomps at Virgil's Anti-Curse.
Yeah.
But it's important to remember as well that both Taco and Tipu only started running this category around December or January. And so, I mean, Taco, between 2 weeks before the tournament and the start of the tournament, dropped about 30 minutes off his PB. So the improvement has been insane, and it's continued to be insane throughout the tournament for both of these runners. And so you really do have to commend them for working this hard and continuing as they are, especially because it's easy to get tilted. It's easy to feel like there's no hope. Like, for example, with Tipu, those deaths were super unfortunate, but both of them are powering on and showing their stuff, and that's really commendable.
Yeah, indeed. And also, I guess something we can also mention in maybe a closer rate setting that Umu can play really mean on is the fact that the 2 types of attacks Umu gives you, one is this tracing light, and well, the other one is the one where Umu spawns like electricity all over the room. The one where it tracks you, I believe, takes a little bit more time, so you really hate to see it when Umu doesn't play nice on that attack either.
Yeah, and I think that was another extra for Taco. Yeah, Mayo pointing it out. That definitely was. We're gonna see Tipu take this bench here, which is definitely a wise choice. But a 2 cycle on Umu loses something on the order of 18 to 19 seconds, so it's really no joke if Tipu manages to get the 1 cycle, and he noted in our pre-race interview of sorts that he's going to try, it would definitely make up a pretty significant amount of time for him here. And we'll see what choices he makes in terms of healing and stuff, given the fact that he's on 3 masks. And so, yeah, people noting it is 1 in 16 is the odds of 2 extras in a row. I thought it was 1 in 25, but I could be wrong.
I think it's 1/4 chance for 1 extra attack, so combinations and permutations. That's not the one. Hold up, I don't know my math anymore.
Yeah, so Tipu's doing volley setup here, right?
Yeah, I believe so.
Yeah, with the D-Dark. That looks Pretty good.
Ooh,
Yeah, that's a one cycle with volley setup. So really, really nice. And yeah, Taco is rightfully complaining about this. It is kind of atrocious that there were two extras in a row, but serious, serious LFG moment for Tipu there. That D-Dark setup is super cool. It's a newer setup, less common. You really won't see it for most runners. But that's awesome too, because he was noting he was really hoping to get a one cycle and he did. So really awesome moment for Tipu there. We'll head in and grab Monomon, and it appears they're about one Monomon apart at this point as the unit of measurement.
Yeah, and to those people who missed our knock knock joke, this is indeed, Monomon, such a interesting race. I just had to call back. I'm sorry.
Yes, you did. And yeah, there's Monomon. Science is dead for both runners. Thank God, it will not be missed. But now we're going to see them take that bench that Taco woefully did not take earlier, that Tipu did, and did not need to take. And they're going to be taking that bench up here, and we'll quit back to it twice because we need to go grab need to run a few errands, grab Howling Wraiths and Great Slash, not in that order, the other way around. Great Slash and then Howling Wraiths.
Yep. And as you see Tipu do there, the cycle of slash we got, we didn't really get to mention this, but it does allow the runners to drop faster in a way. I guess the spinning blades propels you towards the ground, or maybe it just adds enough gravity. I don't know how everything works.
It's the Australian helicopter.
It's the Australian.
Unfortunate Uma right there for Taco, kiting straight into him. Reminds me of the days when I farmed them for Geo, as some of you may know.
No, that is so cursed.
It is really cursed. But yeah, so according to Rixian, about 2 minutes and 16 seconds was closed in that gap. So things are actually very close by this point. They're 26 seconds apart, so we're just really gonna have to see. This Great Slash split is a fan favorite from runners. Folks just really like it because it is entirely movement based, and it's just a lot of really cool stuff. You get to go on what some call the green path of pain. And you're just sort of using all of the different parts of the movement you've picked up to get around really quickly. And Tipu also getting somewhat bullied by Fog Canyon. So they're both seeming to be about 3 masks going into Green Path.
Yeah, and on Tipu's screen here, we can see what's, I believe, called an air hike, because when runners dash off of a platform, you do get a second dash. Combine that with our lovely wings, you can do a air hike there because, again, Team Cherry Pastas, they, for some reason, put 2 platforms there. So if you precisely dash off of one platform and jump, it is the game notes that you are already off the ledge, even though you're still on the ground.
Yes, so here is Taco on the Green Path of Pain. We're going to be heading to Nailmaster Shio. Shout out to the Happy Couple speedrun, in which you get Pure Nail and then get Shio his man. Very cool. I know Sierra in chat is running it for Pride Month. Overall, a very hyped time. But yeah, we're going to be picking up Great Slash from Shio here. He may be a painter, but he's still got it with the nail. And then we're going to head back, quit out to that bench, and do Howling Wraiths.
Yep. So yeah, both runners are... Wow, this is a close race once again. Definitely exciting to watch. And now that we have got our lovely Great Slash, we have to gather up a few more abilities because this is the all skills run and every skill is necessary. So up next, there will be, spoilers, a very interesting arena where the runners will be running through.
Yes. And I mean, very much so. The coolest thing about all skills, in my opinion, is that not only do we get all the skills, is that we essentially use all of them at a different time. We use all 3 nail arts for early control from the well. We use each spell in a fight. Well, particularly the upgraded forms of the spells. We don't really use some of the base spells in fights, but we use everything that we get, and I just find that really awesome because there's no skill in here, even though some aren't as useful as others, there's no skill in here that we just sort of ignore once we pick it up. We find a way to help it optimize everything that we do in this category, and it's just a super special thing. But it looks like they're now only 21 seconds apart, so Taco is really gaming out here, as is Tipu. Both of them are sort of just moving up in the world, trying to do their best.
Yes, indeed. And there's the arena I was originally talking about on Taco's screen, where every single squid takes exactly one shade soul to kill. So interesting how Team Cherry decided to put this here. When on my casual playthrough, I was really confused and thought I was supposed to get this ability ages ago, but turns out I wasn't. So I don't know why.
Yeah. Confusing arena. I mean, those squids only have 2 nail hits worth of health, so our Shade Soul obliterates them. But Tipu having to take a heal here. Mayo noting, and I definitely agree, that was a very good arena from Taco. It's one of those things where it can get a little confusing because you actually don't have to kill all the squids. So you want to make sure that you kill the ones you need to kill so you can get up. But we're going to see this from Tipu now. It's really interesting how people choose to manage these because they don't take much to kill, but you want to kill them very quickly. And Taco has lever skipped into Queen's Gardens, and we're going to be heading into this segment of the run that can be a little finicky because we're going to be heading down into Dark Deep Nest.
Indeed, and Tipu was having a little bit of struggle there with the arena, took a bit of a dunk, but we're all good now. And as you can see, he opted to heal right before picking up the spell because there is this thing in Hollow Knight where a spell does refill entirely your soul meter, and we see on Taco's screen him using the interesting trick of hazard respawn to skip a bunch of platforming sections and get the lever.
Yeah, it seems that the gap did widen by 25 seconds, and I think that attests itself to, Tipu having to take a lot of heals, having that unfortunate dunk, but we're really just going to see because this sort of segment with, Taco taking a fall there, that is no fun, especially with those Mantis Petros, my least favorite enemy in the game, right in your face, and being on 2 masks. You don't love that, honestly. We'll definitely have to consider taking a heal here going into Dark Nest. But Tipu is now in Queen's Gardens, is going to head through the Petra arena in the same way Taco did. Yeah, Taco healing up to full and then grabbing some soul. These Petras on 1-2-2-1 die in exactly 1 shade soul. Unfortunately, on current patch, they take another nail hit because Team Cherry are Ridiverci. Spaghetti and just patching out speedrun tech.
Yeah.
But there we go.
Yeah, also in the chat, Galaxy Wings, welcome back. There are a few of unfortunate deaths, and those did put Taco ahead by quite a substantial amount until both of them kind of evened out, and Tipu is back on Taco's tails again.
Yeah, so Tipu died once to Isma skips and then again entering Basin. And then Taco took a really unfortunate death to Umu and then ended up getting 2 extra attacks and missing 1 cycle. So whereas Tipu got a very smooth 1 cycle. So we'll see. But Taco's heading through Dark Deep Nest here. The main issue with Dark Deep Nest is, as he's finishing it up pretty much, that your hazard respawn is reset to the beginning of the room. So if you mess things up, you have to do it all over again. And the spikes have fallen out from under the floor. And Tipu is on 2 masks here, which is a bit of a Monkus moment, but also you're just sort of hoping to not mess up in general.
Yeah, and Taco using the depth intended skip to enter Beast Den instead of actually having to walk the long way around and deal with 2 devouts instead of 1.
Walking, you hate to see it. But yeah, we just sort of plow through that 1 devout, and we're gonna go and eliminate Hera. It's our 3rd and final Dreamer, but it's important to note that we are not done just quite yet. And so that was not a sentence that made sense in terms of word order. Her brain has gone on vacation again. We are not quite done just yet. There we go. We have to go to the Abyss. We're gonna run down to the Abyss with that lovely King's Brand we took from Hornet. And we're going to grab first the Shade Cloak and then Abyss Shriek. And then we'll be heading to the Hollow Knight. So that's Hera. We slurp the Dreamer, as Sierra notes. And yeah, we're going to be going to the Abyss. There's our 3rd Hornet visit. Hello, Hornet. We think you are wonderful.
Yes, indeed. We stand all the NPCs in this game, except for Zode. No Zode.
No standing of Zode.
For the people who missed my interesting segment today, Dode is apparently a curse word on my Twitch channel for some reasons, and it is automatically blacked out for me.
Oh my goodness. At mods, Zote in the Twitch chat. Please help.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're going to be seeing Taco buys that distant village tag for 250 geo. That is the last expense we have in this run. So from there, we are just heading on out, down to the abyss and up to the black egg. Lots of doors will be opened in the next segment of this run. But it appears Tipu made up 6 seconds on that Hera split. Still, unless Taco really messes up the sibling climb, unlikely to swing back in Tipu's favor, but we're just going to have to keep following because those siblings can really bully you. And it looks like we're going to be coming up soon on our next Knock Knock joke.
Indeed. And I see Troublesome noting in the chat that Zode is so mighty. Yeah, but you know, everyone has a folk can dream, but I do not think that is the case. Anyways, sorry, I missed the knock knock joke part. Knock.
Who's there?
Hornet.
Hornet who?
No, I'm Hornet 2.
Thank you, Virgil, and thank you. Actually, that one is from Sylvie. So many thanks to him for that. It is wonderful that we have these knock knock jokes, and it is a friendly reminder that if you are interested in having your knock knock joke be part of our commentary, just DM Virgil or me on Discord and we will incorporate it. We are always looking for new knock knock jokes to add to our repertoire.
Indeed, and looks like Taco had a pretty smooth lighthouse climb, you know, with one unfortunate hit there, but didn't really mess up his rhythm, and he's ready to roll once again, getting that next ability upgrade, which is Shade Cloak. Just gotta take a nice little shower in the Void Bath. But once again, welcome to Shower Thoughts with Virgil. You know how the entire lighthouse segment is void? Why doesn't swimming in that water, in that body of water, give you Shade Cloak? Why do I have to go to a specific bathing spot? Anyways.
It's the bath. I mean, yeah, I think that I just always associate the lighthouse climb with something Quacksilver said on my first ever commentary, which is that it's extremely momentum based. If you're doing well, you're going to keep doing well, and if you take a hit, things are a lot likely to start going exponentially wrong. So it's great for Taco that he was able to just handle things as they were and just get out of there, because the last thing you want at this point is to mess up the lighthouse climb and suddenly the race is in your opponent's favor. But let's see how Tipu's doing. It seems pretty good so far. Hasn't taken a hit. That's really what you're looking for the most. And it looks like, yeah, gonna make it just fine. So good lighthouse climb from both.
Yes, indeed. And as Taco just got that, we are now heading over for our final destination. Final destination. There we go.
Well, second to last.
Well, yeah, but okay, a final destination for the specific to all skill runs, where we will need. Oh, seems like Taco had to gather a little bit of soul there. We will need to be putting on the caps lock and changing our regular scream into a scream void of happiness.
Happy scream. Yes, this is the Abyss Shriek. It's the last thing we do. I like to call the fight with THK a job interview, because if you really think about it, you're interviewing for the job of contain the infection. And that job is a complicated one, of course. And so I like to say we're interviewing for that job, and our main method of talking about our personal skills is by screaming at the Hollow Knight. So we'll be using that Abyss Shriek as our main form of DPS in the fight, just because of it being the best DPS we can get without getting a fully upgraded Nail and Cyclone Slash. So yeah, we'll be seeing a lot. And this is the Abyss climb. It is also somewhat momentum based. That hazard respawn can certainly bully you, as you can see is happening to Taco right now, and he's on one mask, which is unfortunate to say the least. Because if he dies, he will respawn right back at the Shade Cloak. Hard save. And what are your strengths? Ah, I really love to see it. I can relate to that. It is the optimal job interview is to shriek through it.
I mean, yes, and unfortunately, sometimes, you know, the people who are loudest in the room gets to dictate the truth. So, when you go to a job interview, just scream at your employers. Please don't do that. We're not responsible for any jobs you might have lost along the way.
Yeah, and it's important to note that Taco has really, really had trouble with this abyss climb. We'll make it out, but it's a pretty significant time loss for him there. And at this point, we're just gonna have to see how it goes for Tipu. But if Tipu has a decent abyss climb, probably going to see things become somewhat evened out, though they're about a minute apart still, into that abyss shriek. So yeah, we're gonna see people asking, is that why the Hollow Knight screams back? I like to think that each Hollow Knight scream is a different question, and then you respond by screaming many, many times to answer the question. It's like, well, can you describe to me some things that might make you weak as a team player?
Oh,
And then
no.
just launch into 4 abyss shrieks consecutively.
Oh no. There will be a global phenomenon from this where the whole entire Hollow Knight community goes to interviews and proceeds to scream at their employers. Very fun. And it looks like Rixian is marking in the chat that did Tipu actually increase the time gap between the Abyss Streak?
Well, that was the Shade Cloak to Abyss Streak, but Tipu has been having some trouble with Abyss Climb because his dash got eaten, as chat is noting. And it's really unfortunate because this could have been a very nice Abyss Climb, but sometimes TC Chow and the Spaghetti is here and just input handling in this game. And it's really unfortunate, but we'll definitely see a strong finish to the run from Tipu here as Taco heads into the Black Egg for his job interview.
Yes, indeed. And I love the fact that Tifu's timer is a little bit wacky, and it just, it's a little bit of a thick and just shoving yourself.
Tipu has run this for 2 minutes. He's managed to get all the skills in 2.5 minutes, and is now heading to the Black Egg to flex on Taco by running an hour faster than him.
Oh gosh.
Yeah, at this point it will take a death to THK for the run to swing back in Tipu's favor, but Tipu with that 2-minute time is looking great. And yeah, now we're gonna see this job interview. Let's see what kind of skills. I mean, if you think about it, right? All skills is essentially optimally preparing yourself for the job interview because you're showing what are your strongest skills, and then you use all of them by screaming at the Hollow Knight.
Wait, Herm, do you think then, this isn't a job interview, but instead college interview, and then the scream skip is just early admission?
Oh my gosh, the scream skip is getting in early to your university of choice, which is of course Black Egg University, where you eternally contain infection from the sun.
Of course.
The Knight showing off his soft skills like good communication. Taco is on 1 mask. We're gonna just have to see. Should be okay at this point, but yeah, with a 4th scream, it should be looking good for him at this rate. But yeah, the Hollow Knight is really not putting too much into the interview at this point. It looks like Taco is receiving an acceptance letter from his interviewer and will sort of go forth to contain the infection for all eternity as Tipu seems that his interviewer is sort of running away from him a lot. You really don't want to see that kind of RNG. Those dash attacks can be very annoying, but standing and refuting things with a parry is far worse. So GG's for Taco, so 104. With those deaths that significantly off PB, but also with the deaths and everything, definitely commendable.
Yeah, definitely.
Yep, so we'll see Tipu finish probably in the neighborhood of a minute behind that 4th scream right here. There's no Hornet to tell us to get good because we aren't interested in true ending.
Yeah,
and now we're just going to... Yes, Void Heart is not a skill, nor is Awoken Dream Nail, nor Dreamgate, because we don't want this run to be too similar to True Ending. And also, this run has existed long before Dreamgate, and the Hidden Dream update was even a thing. So yeah, it looks like it will be just close to a minute apart. Big GGs to both runners. We'll wait to see the final time, and then we'll have them both in for an interview shortly.
I'm sorry, I'm still laughing from the seems like his interview is running from him a lot. Gosh.
No, I made all skill splits once. I can send them in the Discord at some point, as a joke, and the THK scream is job interview, and the end split is acceptance letter. So I've held this for several months now.
Alright.
But yeah, it looks like a 104.57 for Tipu. Once again, with all those deaths, I mean, still pretty good performance overall. We will see if there were any HK glods in there when we talk to them. But yeah, now we're gonna have an interview, not a job interview, so I don't expect any shrieking. I do see.
I'm gonna go start screaming at both runners now.
No, Virgil, please. I don't want to have either of these runners contain the infection for eternity. I think that seems kind of cruel. They both did a very good job today. Let's invite them.
That's true. Okay. Yeah, we're just waiting.
I'll invite Tipu
to join. Wait, I haven't marked it. Okay.
Oh, I just marked him as done.
Okay, cool.
So I think that, yeah, we should be seeing him in here shortly, and then we'll interview them.
And if anyone has any questions, feel free to put them in the chat, and we'll definitely.
Yep, exactly. So, yeah, should be just a few minutes here. But yeah, it'll be fun to ask these folks, you know, were they watching the race? Were they listening to our comms? Thoughts on whether or not the Hollow Knight fight is a job interview? All of the above. Really thriving. So.
Yeah, of course. Wait, it seems like Tipu still doesn't have the link yet. 1 second. Interesting. Did the thing glitch?
Oh, okay, yeah. Interesting. I'm really confused at this point.
Wait.
Yeah, I'm guessing you can sort of send the invite over, or we can get
just all
SpeedGaming people.
Yeah, what about get Steve?
But yeah, it is confusing to me that Tipu would not have the link at this point.
Let me see if I can just.
Yeah, we're gonna figure it out. Bear with us here as we go through some moderate technical difficulties. I wish we had like cute hold music to play, you know, like when you're on the phone. But unfortunately, we don't have cute hold music for you. Only just kind messages and reminders that chat all of you are cute and we're excellent to interact with throughout this race. And it looks like we have a SpeedGaming volunteer on the job trying to get Tipu that interview link. So we should be good. As always, massive thank yous to SpeedGaming for running this tournament, making it so easy for folks like Virgil and I who hadn't even commentated before this to do it and have a great time together so often. Tipu is suggesting that he will kill Byla, and I'm really second guessing whether there should be any invitation of him into the call. Oh, hi Tipu.
Hello.
Discussing your unethical Mila killing behavior. Oh.
Whoa. There he goes.
Tipu left for a moment there. Hello runners, GG's to both of you.
Wow. What a race.
Tipu having some
that was pretty close.
Issues. Yeah, holy cow. Kaka, were you watching? I mean, I saw you in chat, but were you watching the stream?
Oh
were
yeah,
you listening to stuff?
I was watching the entire stream. I didn't have audio on because that would be picked up on the restream.
Oh
but,
yeah, that's true.
Man, like the Until Green Path, we were like basically in sync. I was like, wait, did they just copy the same run and put it on two sides? That was crazy.
It was bonkers. There's a point you were 0.01 seconds apart. I was like, holy cow. Like,
I'd say let's just call it a draw. Honestly.
Yeah, that run was. I don't know what happened on Ancient Basin.
Yeah, that was really tough. That RNG really bit you there. I mean, sometimes the game is just bully, and I think it was one of those times.
That could have just as well been me, though. Like, I remember being on 1 health more than one time during boss fights and stuff.
Yeah.
Also during the Isma skip. That was cool.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, no, that was true. That could have been like, that was like one horror bounce away from really being disastrous.
Yep, for sure.
And the extras on Umu.
Yeah,
were...
that was the bullying for you, Taco, were those Umu extras.
Man, like the chance of that is so low.
Yeah,
It's like only 5% or something to get that twice in a row. Oh boy.
It's actually bonkers. Oh yeah, Tipu, GG's on that Umu
Yeah,
one cycle. That was
I got
awesome.
it.
That was super cool.
That was a 1 cycle?
Yeah, I did 1 cycle with new strats. You should also learn it. It's so much
Damn.
simpler.
That's epic.
Yeah, that was awesome.
Yeah, shout out to Malikata for figuring out a new way.
Volley strats. You'll love to
Yeah.
see it. Yeah, Tipu, were you watching the race as it went down?
I was watching, but I think it got me more nervous when I knew I had a chance to win the race. And when I did first dead, I just decided to close stream and focus on the game.
Yeah, because I was wondering if you were watching and you're like, oh, I really have to make things up to take like to not take the Hornet 2 safety bench. So I was wondering if that was because you're watching.
It was just because I felt like everybody thinks I'm bad, so let's just do cool things and not take bench. And it worked.
Well, you had a great fight.
Yeah.
That paid off for sure.
Yeah.
Sometimes I guess it's just the perception in your own head and not what's going on the stream. But
Yeah, you guys all had some really good flawless executions. Speaking of which, just a curious question: what do you think, in your opinion, are like the run parts that you were really proud of?
The arena,
yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
that was pretty good. That was like how it was written down in the history books, you know, in the tutorial from Pisces. He did it the exact same way.
Yeah.
I was pretty happy with
awesome.
that.
I'm happy with my Watcher Knights. I golded it and I think I did no mistakes there.
Yo, that's awesome. HK Glod, you'll love to see it. No, those were both awesome segments from you two. That's the thing, is like kind of what I love about a race setting is because where you'd normally just reset and say, okay, run's dead, this isn't worth my time, you do get the time to just sort of get like really nice time save or just a really cool execution or even an HK Glod in later parts of the race because you aren't resetting. And that was some fabulous stuff from both of you guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was definitely a ton of fun.
Yeah, it was fun.
Unfortunately, the last race for me, since I don't think I made it in top 16.
Yeah,
so
me too.
So right here, I want to say again, thank you very much to everybody who's been organizing this entire tournament behind the scenes, and also to you guys who are taking the time to commentate. Like, I don't know how often you did that, but there's a bunch of people doing runs and a bunch of people taking time to commentate, and I think that's just awesome. That makes the runs come alive so much more. It's so much more entertaining, so thank you guys.
Well, we've enjoyed it tremendously, Taco, as the two of us between Herb and Virgil have calmed 4 of your 5 races, and it's always been a pleasure to commentate for you, to interview you, and Tipu, it's been a pleasure as well. And yeah, if you folks, we're gonna just hope to see you. We're gonna hope to commentate some playoffs matches. We'll hope to see you in chat maybe every once in a while.
Yeah.
Tossing
for
some
sure.
jokes around.
Thanks for all of you, and it was good race. Chi-chi.
GG.
Bye.
Indeed.
See you
Bye,
guys.
Okay, everybody.
Yes.
Well done,
Thank you so much for attending this wonderful race. Reminder that runners, co-commentators, chat, all very cute. Have a fabulous afternoon or morning or evening or whatever time it may be for you, and we'll see you on another episode real soon. Adios, folks.
Bye, guys.
Bye bye.
Bye.